welcome everyone. This is our episode 9, right?
Episode 9, yeah.
Pro Tips webinar series. This is our last episode, at least for the next couple of months. Thank you for attending. We're excited to have Kent on with us today from One-to-One Marketing. He's going to be walking us through his campaign pilot solution, their campaign pilot solution. And
it's his.
So here, before we kind of get into that, let's talk a little bit about what the Pro Tips webinar series is here. So the idea is we're trying to do 30 minutes or less webinars that are really easy to kind of digest as you're going through, and we're trying to inspire you by going through some of the features of our app that we feel are really amazing, but maybe we haven't seen people use them quite as much as we thought they could be used. So we're trying to point out and kind of do some deep dives on some very, very specific features. So the idea also is we're sharing these recordings the same day so that if you can't make it to one, that's okay. You can watch it afterwards, take a look, fast forward to all the small talk parts that you don't want to hear about, or listen to them all. No?
Binge watch all of them all at once.
Yeah, and then you can go in. We have a page. I think you'll be redirected to it after this webinar is over. It has all of our Pro Tips webinars on them. So if you want to maybe cherry pick the ones that are interesting to you, you totally can do that. So before we kind of like get into the topic for today, I want to remind you, when we're looking at all of these different features and you're building your app and you're trying to put it together and deciding what you're going to use, what you're not going to use, the ultimate goal is we want to get users to download your app so that you can have a bigger audience to send messages out to. When you have an open tea time on the weekend and you're trying to fill it, you want to have that audience already pre-filled so that you can send the message out and then hopefully find someone to fill that tea time. The same goes for upcoming events or anything like that. That's going to be especially pertinent today as we're talking about campaign pilot. So without further ado, let's talk about today's agenda. So we're going to start off giving you some background on what campaign pilot is, how can it be useful to you, how much does it cost, all of that good stuff. And then we're going to talk more about how it is integrated with the Gallus Golf platform to make your life easier when you're doing marketing campaigns. So we're going to talk about push notifications and also Offer Locker, how those integrations work. And then we're going to finish up with some unique ideas, maybe some things you hadn't thought about that you could use this platform for. And we will finish up with a Q&A section at the end. So if you hear something that maybe prompts a question in your mind that you'd like us to answer, definitely hit that Q&A box in the top left of your screen, and we'll go over all the questions that are in there at the end. So enough background. Let's get rolling on this thing. First off, we're going to give you some background on actually how the whole system works and all of that. For that, I'm going to turn it over to our expert, Mr. Kent Ashby.
Thanks. I appreciate it. Well, just so everyone's aware, I think there's probably quite a few of you that maybe aren't using Campaign Pilot or maybe haven't even heard of it, or One-to-One for that matter. One-to-One Marketing, we're a digital marketing agency for the golf industry. We focus on building websites and providing software like email marketing software. We also provide some marketing services. But kind of in our wheelhouse, what we decided we were going to do is develop Campaign Pilot as a tool that a GM or head pro or really any staff member at the golf course can take and walk through a set of steps or one set of steps to get multiple outputs. So the idea was to minimize the amount of time that you have to put into a marketing campaign and get it out there to the masses. Can I change slides, or are you guys in control here? Okay. Anyway, so for when you think about when you're going to go market something, and what you want to do, you're ultimately trying to get it and push it out to as many people that you have access to, and that might require posting it to Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, what all these different channels, sending out an email. But also there's a bunch of other things that you have to consider. What's the idea? Like, what are you going to promote? Do you have that already, or do you need to be inspired? Do you need to create a landing page? Do you need to create graphics? Do you need people to approve all that stuff? All of these things, are you making sure that you're using like call to actions that are appropriate, and all these things that just kind of slip our minds. If you go to the next page, it's a little bit of a balancing act. It's kind of like spinning plates. You know, we get maybe the owner or the GM comes to us and says, I need to get this out tomorrow. And you're thinking, well, that's more than just getting it out. I have to get it out on all these places, and I have to make sure like it's all good and it works properly. And it can be kind of daunting. So if you go to the next one, the whole point of this is take something that used to take hours and potentially an hour or so per channel that you wanted to send it to, and pretty much negate all that and have one set of steps that you can go through and really not think too hard. These steps are made to guide you. So you shouldn't have to think about, am I doing this right or wrong? It should be complete steps 1 through 5, and you'll have a excellent working marketing campaign at the end of it. That's going to go everywhere that you need it to go, including your Gallus Golf app, which we'll talk about here. So if you go on to the next slide, really, I think this is an underutilized thing in Campaign Pilot, which is our campaign library. We have hundreds of pre-filled campaigns in here that we've gotten from other clients. We've come up with some ourselves, and we've taken these campaigns that we know work and put them in there. And you can go in there, say you don't know what you want to promote, but you just know you need to get something out. Maybe you have Father's Day is coming up. You need to get something out for Father's Day. Oh, there's a Father's Day gift card campaign. You could select that, and it'll pretty much get you going. And you can take that and just tweak it, and in a matter of minutes, get something out there. If you go to the next one, so they also, another big, obviously a big daunting thing. If you're a head pro or a GM, you're likely not a designer, and so as a result, a big thing that we want, one big box that we wanted to make sure Campaign Pilot checked was that it also spits out professional level graphics at the end of this. And how it does that is it takes images that you provide it, and we also provide stock images that you can use, and there's thousands of those that you can choose from, but you can also upload your own images, and then it puts over multiple overlays over that image and then gives you those options. So by the end of it, you have dozens of options you can choose from for graphics, and you can pick the one that you like best. And it totally negates or eliminates the need to have Photoshop and Canva and do all of that stuff, which I know is a big time saver for a lot of people. Building landing pages. This is ultimately, if we're going to be sending things out to the masses, we want to bring them to one central place that has all the information and has all of the things that they'll need to either register for the event or purchase the gift card or whatever that call to action is. So if you look at the example we have here, it's a 4th of July golf tournament event that we've got going on, and has the details of the event in the middle, and then at the bottom, it's a little bit cut off there, but you can register for the event, and there's a form there where you can collect the people's name, their handicaps, their team name, whatever you need to collect, and all of that gets collected and syndicated out to the appropriate staff members at the club. These landing pages don't have to have a form on them. Some of the landing pages we embed or iframe embed the booking engine in. Some of them are just a form for lead generation. A lot of people use these landing pages for like membership drives and things of that nature. But anyway, these landing pages are malleable. You can adjust them based on the campaign's objective. Let's see here. And then ultimately at the very end, you're going to schedule and publish or schedule and save the campaign. And what that's going to do is you at that point, you have the option to select where you want that campaign to be published. Do you want it everywhere, or do you want it only as an email or just out to the app? Whatever you think is best. An example of why you might need to send it one place over another is say you just updated your membership rates and you just want your members to know. That would be an example of, Just maybe you want that just to go out via email to only your members. Whereas maybe it's an upcoming event and you want everyone to know, you can toggle on all of those and get it out there. The nice part about this schedule and publish section is it also gives you a summary of the campaign at the end. That it's a link that's a big file, and you can send that to anybody, and it has what it's going to look like on social media, what the email is going to look like, what the landing page is. It has everything, so you can send that link to, let's say, your boss or just another colleague and say, hey, take a look at this and make sure it's all good. So you can send that before you actually publish the campaign. Let's see here. And the ultimate objective here is to capture leads, get more revenue, get more event registrations. Although Campaign Pilot has now been used for things that it was never designed for, which is awesome. Like, it's cool to see people taking it and doing other things with it besides what we anticipated people would use it for. But we had originally anticipated it for basically all the things golf courses promote: online tee times, bookings for our event registration, even donations. We get a lot of clubs that are trying to raise money for updating their new patio, and they just want to get donations from the members so they can expedite that process. We've seen it for that. We've seen it even for wedding venue deposits. People will create a landing page, send it to the bride and groom, and say, "Hey, can you fill out this form and we'll collect your deposit this way." Hey. It's pretty cool. So anyway, if this is malleable and flexible, so don't think it's only for golf or it's only for one specific thing. You can pretty much use it for anything. Stats and statistics and tracking revenue and impressions via all these channels is obviously an important thing. Like the Gallus people always say, at least I've heard Rob say it, like, if you can measure it, you can manage it. Is that it? Something like that. Anyway, he's right. Rob's right. If you can measure it, you can manage it. So we want to make sure that how much revenue these campaigns are generating, how many clicks and impressions, and where those clicks and impressions are originating from. So which channels are performing the strongest for you. All right.
Excellent. Thanks, Kent. I mean, pretty cool, right? Everyone's watching. I mean, this can be a huge time saver. And Kent, you didn't mention, how much does this cost?
Oh yeah. So it's free.
Thank you.
Campaign Pilot is free. We developed it, and if you I was telling the guys earlier, if you want to know what the catch is ultimately we want to establish a relationship with you. We want you to use Campaign Pilot, reach out to us and say, hey, I'd like to use this product, and get to know us a little more. So that's the catch. It's our lead generation tool, if you will, but it's become much, much more than that. It is it's really a cornerstone piece of software for us and for other golf courses. So if some of these things that that we just went over are things that you struggle with, or just time, something you struggle with, at least give it a try. It's free to sign up for at campaignpilot.com.
Yeah, definitely at least worth a shot, to poke around. I mean, I know that when I first saw it, I think I saw it at the PGA show 2 years ago. You guys were showing it to me. And I mean, you walk through it and all of a sudden you understand, like, oh, like, this really is going to it's just going to ask me for every piece of information that it needs, and then it's going to make it pretty and beautiful, and then it's going to send it out to wherever I want it to go. I mean,
the first time you use it, when you and you've never used it before, and you're just going through the steps, you're like, what am I? This all seems a little bit meaningless. Like it seems like
too
you're
simple.
just kind of it seems too simple. Like, what? Okay, why is it asking me all this? And then at the end, it compiles everything. I get it, and it's smart. This software knows that this input you made here, we can also use it 5 other times over here. So you don't have to repeat that step any more than once. So, so that's the idea. That's a big time saver. And also it just makes sure, I think a lot of people have found that it makes sure that they have all the boxes checked without having to think about it. So.
Absolutely. Yeah. And we actually have we set up like an example event too. Matt, I think you might have the link, right?
I have it. Yeah,
I'll throw the link into the Q&A box so that you can go in there and just kind of see what the whole landing page looks like too. So thanks, Kent, for all that background. So now we're going to talk more specifically about how does it interface with a Gallus app. So Kent mentioned a couple slides ago how when you're actually creating the campaign and you're about to hit submit, you choose which channels it goes out to. One of those channels is the app, but also even before you're setting that up, you can set up an offer to be created when someone fills out the form and even like pays whatever dollar amount that you've specified. So Matt, do you want to maybe talk a little bit about the offer locker?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. So the offer locker is part of your, if you have a Gallus app with us, one that we've created for you, the offer locker is basically a single use redeemable offer or coupon, we like to call it, that lives in your app. It's something that doesn't connect to your POS or anything else, but it is something that all the customers can keep track of all of their different offers all in one place, and you have a place that lets you track how many people are viewing them, how many people are redeeming them, and have all that information all in one place. So you can create as many or as few as you like, which is really great. You can have the same ones reoccurring multiple months at a time. They are very easily redeemed contactlessly, so you don't have to touch anybody's phone. They literally tap 3 different places. It says redeem. They should show you that it's been redeemed on their phone to you at the shop or wherever you're redeeming it, and then you take care of it either with a SKU or however you're going to give them the discount on your end through your POS that you set up that way. So to sign up, users, all they have to do is provide their first and last name and an email address. The email address does have to be a valid email address because it is a 2-factor. They get sent an email to confirm it so that they can't put in a bogus one. And the main elements of an offer locker that you can put in there is you basically who you're sending it to. You can send it to broadcast, which is everybody that has the app downloaded that has signed up for the offer locker. Targeted is you can target specific users using their email address. This is great because you can target people before they even have downloaded the app or signed up for the offer locker. As long as they use that same email when they sign up, their offer will be waiting for them right there. So it's audience, who you're sending it to. The title, which is the name of the offer, basically. Like in this example, it's buy 3 lessons, get the 4th free. The description, which is like all the more details, where to redeem it, where, how, like any kind of disclaimers or anything it's not good for in the description, which is underneath that little like looking to improve underneath the picture. You have a picture or an image we have a bunch of stock images, just like Kent was saying. We have our own stock images, not thousands, but 10 or 20 stock images, or you can upload your own. And you put in a date range when that offer is valid for. So you can set them up for the future to be valid only from this date to this date. You can let them be good forever and then until you go in and delete them if you don't put an expiration date. And then you can also create what's called an onboarding offer. This is probably the most important part of the offer locker. If you're using it just by itself without using it with Campaign Pilot, which we're going to talk about how that works. But an onboarding offer is basically if you have when somebody downloads the offer for the very first time, this gets popped up first thing before you even get to your home screen of, hey, this is an offer. Please sign up for the offer locker. If you sign up right now, you will get this one specific offer. So it's like an incentive to put in your info and to sign up right away. So this is great. And then you can also send, this links to our push notifications, which we'll talk about in a second, how once you create the offer, you can automatically copy all the info, the audience that you're sending it to, the name of the offer, all gets sent, gets basically copied into a push notification that you can send out via your app to all the people that it's going to, or to just everybody, letting them know that there are new offers in your offer locker. So that's offer locker in a nutshell. But how it connects to Campaign Pilot, this is the big thing. You can sell electronic single-use offers. This is big, where if you're selling like a package, like a golf package, like, buy like this one, buy 3 lessons, get a 4th free, or if you're going to sell like a 10-pack of lessons or a 10-pack of green fees to somebody, you can basically have them, send out this via an email that goes, to them. They go to that landing page that Campaign Pilot creates where they can buy that offer. And when they buy it, put in their info, it automatically, the app will generate the offer for them, create it, and send it to them in their app. So that's how they can then redeem it later. So it's delivered directly to your customers via the offer locker. So they have to have downloaded your app and use it that way. And that way there's no more manually creating the offers, no more paper, no more keeping track of it, via a spreadsheet. Everything is tracked all within your app. Everything's all done that way, all for you, 100%, which is fantastic. So the people that are using
major. At least I know with my clients, like dealing with coupons and vouchers and know which ones are redeemed and not. I mean,
not,
it becomes a nightmare. Yeah.
And, so this is a great place where you, on the back end of your dashboard of your app, you can go back and track to see which ones are being redeemed, which ones are not. And you can search by email address to see which one, if somebody has a specific one, which one's in there. So it's a great tool just for that one specific reason, that you don't have to manually go in and make the offer or, send them a coupon or print out the paper or do any of that stuff. So it's,
and also, it goes without saying, but it's automatically filtering it out just to the person who purchased it through the campaign. So it's not going out as a broadcast offer to everybody. It's doing all the work to target it
to one person. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's fantastic. The people that are using this love it. I mean, it's such a time and money saver for them. So this is basically what it looks like on the back end. How this is a screenshot on the left of how you set it up and what it's gonna give you a preview of on the right. This is what it will look like once you do all that for you. So it walks you through all the steps, like just like Kent and Kyle were saying earlier, how it's very intuitive. It basically just asks you all the questions that it needs to create it, and then it does it for you. So it does this seamlessly with everything else it's building. It's building that landing page. It's doing all this stuff. It's building the template for the social media or for the website, but it also creates this for you as you're doing it if you click that to do that. So one thing you do have to do for this integration that we haven't talked about yet is you do have to get contact us to get you have to sign up for Campaign Pilot first, or already have it, and then you have to have an app, and then we can connect the two. If you contact us, we will connect them for you, and then in your Campaign Pilot, the app will be a new place that you can send things out to. So, as a reminder, that's kind of how this all works in general. So,
which we can get that done same day.
Yeah, very quickly. Yeah. So it's just something you do have to reach out to us and say, yes, I want this. If you already have Campaign Pilot, sign up for it. Perfect. If not, you just go and sign up for it. Like Ken said, it's free and easy to use. So now we're going to turn it over to Kyle to talk about push notifications.
So thank you, Matt. So Matt talked about Offer Locker and how it can automatically generate offers in your app. But maybe the specific campaign that you're setting up doesn't actually require like a purchase from that individual or anything like that. You're just notifying them and you want to let them know. Or even if you are creating an offer, you want to make sure that it's going out to all your channels. So included in this integration also is when you're sending out an email and doing a social media post and doing all that fun stuff, you can also automatically trigger a push notification to go out from your app. So just real quick to kind of give you some background on what push notifications are. We all get them on our phones. They're those messages that show up on our lock screen of our phone. Here's an example on left from our Team Gallus app. They are 120 characters or less. They obviously show up on the device that we all use the most, which is our phone. So they're a really good way to reach out to somebody. When the user downloads the app, we ask them if they want to allow push notifications or not. So they opt in to receiving these messages from you. Each push notification actually has 4 main elements to it. One is the audience, so who's it going out to? In particular with Campaign Pilot, it's going to go out to a broadcast audience, which means that everyone that has downloaded your app and allowed push notifications will get this message. In our Gallus dashboard, there's also a way to send out a targeted push just to specific individuals as well. There's, of course, the message, which we've already talked about, 120 characters or less. An action, which is when the user taps on the message, where are they going to go? So part of this integration is when you set up your campaign and you create a landing page and all of that fun stuff, the user is going to get that message on their phone, and when they tap on it, guess what's going to happen? They're going to go directly to that landing page so that they can get all the information that you worked so hard to set up in the Campaign Pilot flow, which is really great. We give you a couple other options in the dashboard to set it up. And then, of course, you can schedule it too. So in Campaign Pilot, when you're scheduling out your campaign, the message will follow whatever you set up there. Or if you're sending a push notification just from your Gallus dashboard, then of course you're going to set when you'd like it to go, whether it be immediately or sometime in the future. So just to kind of give you an idea of what it looks like in the campaign pilot dashboard, we already showed you how the setup is for offers, but this is when you're actually setting up your campaign message, and then that's on the left. And on the right is where you're actually choosing those different sources that you want to push out to. So you'll notice there's all sorts of ones, like your website, if you have a one-to-one marketing site, email, app, Facebook, Twitter, Google. You can choose which ones you want to push it out to. And then right down there at the bottom right where it says save and schedule, that's the magic button. You just click it and it does all the work for you, and it just pushes it out to everything. So this is, I would say, I mean, probably fair to say, Kent, right? This is probably the most used aspect of the integration, because on most campaigns, you want to send out a push notification.
For sure. Yeah, the messaging, this particular step is what gets syndicated out to everybody. So the messaging is probably the most used step of them all. Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, so that's the push notifications integration. So lastly here, we just want to go over, I mean, we've talked about a couple of instances, but we want to really give you some ideas of some creative uses for this campaign pilot integration with your Gallus app. So Kent, if you want to go over these here.
Yeah, there's quite a few. I mean, I was telling you guys earlier that it's really flexible. So people have come up with unique ways to use this piece of software. And I'll preface all of this with, this is what we intended it to be used for, but you can use it for many other things. But first things first, selling and promoting your offerings. And I say offerings rather than anything specific, because it could literally be anything, as we found. I had a Glow Golf event come up, or those types of things, but there's also like gift cards. That's another huge thing. Obviously, it's Father's Day coming in. We had a guy up north sell 100% of his memberships this year via Campaign Pilot, which was kind of impressive to see that someone would take that leap of faith, to be honest. But it worked extremely well for him. So people love the fact that they can not talk to somebody and just sign up for something. You know what I mean? It's a nice thing. But junior camps, club fittings, anything like that, anything you guys got coming down the line, you can promote it here. The next one is events and tournaments. I probably personally use it more for this than anything else, just because it seems like a lot of my clients are doing a lot of events. But I mean, for this type of thing, it's really it almost seems that it was tailor made for promoting events, because it has like dates and times, and a lot of the event registration features are really nice, and like the form builder actually has pre-built form fields for your gin and handicap and team name and a bunch of other things that you would want to collect for a tournament. So that's another thing that's really commonly used for, probably the most commonly used. Pushing tee times. Like I said before, we can actually embed your booking engine within Campaign Pilot. So if you have that landing page will actually be a nice custom landing page, and then right in the middle will be your booking engine. And so Campaign Pilot's great for just on days when maybe the tee sheet's looking a little, you got some room in the tee sheet. You can do a push notification, send it all to all the Gallus app users, but then also to everyone that's follows you on social media and email as well. And the last thing, it's just, all encompassing your channel distribution, right? It's a lot of people really focus on email, but are weak on Facebook, or they're focused on Facebook, but they're weak on email, or whatever the case is. People have their channels that they prefer personally, but truth be told, unless you're everywhere all the time, you're leaving some money on the table, essentially. So the idea is you can check a couple more boxes and get more coverage than you did before.
Simple. Yeah.
Excellent. Yeah. I mean, it's so true, right? Like, I think each one of us has our own tendency. Like, I may check my email a lot, but Matt, you might check Facebook.
Yeah.
And Kent, you might check your app. But,
Mm-hmm.
it's important to make sure that everybody gets taken care of when you're creating these campaigns. so that whichever channel that they want to find it on, they can go in and they can get the exact same information, and the messaging is consistent too. That's super important. So yeah, this is, just to kind of wrap up here, I know we're going a little over, which is totally cool.
Ken, did you have any other weird off the wall ones first before I know you said you had a couple.
Sure.
Yeah. Do you have any of those?
What's like the weirdest one you've seen?
Yeah. Like I'd mentioned the wedding deposit one. That one came out of left field. Like when it's a club in Illinois. They when they started doing that, we're like, "What are you doing?" She's like, "Oh, I collect my deposits through there. Like I send it to the bride and groom because it's just a link." She likes that it's just a link, and the bride and groom love it because they think it's like she'll like have their picture on there, and like it looks really cool. You know what I mean? And so the bride and groom sees it, and they think like she spent some time putting this thing together. You know what I mean? Like this little proposal or whatever you want to call it. And it really took her a few minutes.
That's cool.
So that one was kind of cool. Another one I had. And this one I wouldn't say is like very peculiar or weird, but our biggest grossing campaign happened somewhat recently, like 3 months ago. It was Garland Resort in Michigan, and they just sold these. They were like preseason package vouchers, and it was like $200, and you got a one-night stay, a round of golf, and complimentary breakfast, or breakfast or something. Maybe it was lunch, a meal of some kind, and it went gangbusters. They sold like $630 some odd thousand dollars worth of these vouchers through there, seemingly like out of nowhere. And the most they had done, they sell these vouchers every year, and the most they had done prior to us helping them with Campaign Pilot get it out there was 93 or something. So just the availability and the ability to like go online, purchase these vouchers, whereas before you had to call them, you had to give them a credit card over the phone, there was this thing, like this whole process. And the fact that it was so much easier to just purchase that quickly, I think we got a lot of impulse buyers. Like, it's that cheap for that. I get a golf getaway for $200. Okay, buy. And they just bought it on a whim. And that was earlier in the year too, when COVID still had its grasp on a lot of stuff. So that was another one that I just thought was cool to see, how just taking that campaign from like a manual thing to this digital, taking it into the digital world, it did that much better,
Wow, that's crazy. That's cool.
Wow. Very cool. Very cool. Okay, so I'm going to move us to our Q&A slide here. I don't see anything in the Q&A box quite yet, so just in case someone's typing something out, I will say, if you want to get started with this, you can just go to campaignpilot.com, right, Kent?
Yep, it's campaignpilot.com. You can sign up for free.
Great. So that sets you up for that. If you want to connect it to your Gallus app, all you have to do is just shoot us an email at support@gallusgolf.com, and we'll be able to get right on that and work with the one-to-one team to connect the two. And I mean, like we've been saying this whole time, it's your choice. You can either manage all of these different channels separately and spend hours a week trying to do it, or you can try to put them all into one nice, easy to use package and make it a little bit easier on yourself. Matt did throw in his calendar booking link as well, just in case you want to like hop on a call and talk about your facility in particular, so that we can kind of fit it into what you guys are doing already. But I will say, in the slides, which Matt also included in the chat, there's a link to visit Campaign Pilot and the review call. And just in general, I mean, this is the last episode of our Pro Tips webinar series, at least for the near future, I would say. Our goal is really, if you want to know anything about your Gallus app, like we were saying earlier, whatever channel you want to find these answers on, you can find it. You can call us, you can shoot us an email, you can look at our knowledge base if you don't want to talk to anybody. Or any page with a gallusgolf.com domain has a chat box in the bottom, either left or right corner, and you can chat with us there. So don't be a stranger. Let us help you. Definitely reach out to us if you have any questions. But
And likewise with Campaign Pilot, of course, like although it's free, we'd love to talk to you about it. That's kind of the purpose, like I mentioned earlier, is to talk about it. So if you guys ever have any questions or just want to see how other clubs are using it, want a little demo, just let us know. I'm happy to walk you through it.
Absolutely. Well, Kent, thanks so much for your time and joining
Yeah,
us.
thank you.
Yeah,
Appreciate
of course.
it.
Thanks for the invite. I love it.
Yeah.
So
Cool.
And thanks to everyone who attended today and anyone who is watching in the future on some video platform. We look forward to getting this set up for you guys. Hope you have a great rest of your day.
Cool. Thanks, everybody.
awesome.